Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. I'm Will Schick, Director of Product Development for Atomic Mass Games, and I'm joined by my fabulous co-host, Michael Plummer.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Mr. Game Developer.
Hey, well.
You have to put the Mr. in front of it because Michael Plummer is nothing if not fancy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say.
Super fancy. What are we doing today, Mr. Plummer?
Well, today I am painting Anakin Skywalker for my Grand Republic army for Star Wars Legion, and I'm pretty excited about it.
You've got the Anakin Skywalker. I'm actually painting Count Dooku for my Separatist army. I did not know that we'd both be painting our characters today, but
I didn't
that's
either.
Pretty fun.
I was pretty sure that if I sat here and sponge painted more clones, people would just get really bored of that.
I don't know. I watched that stream while you all were doing it, and I mean, people seem to really enjoy it. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and pop this view off and get over to the stars of our show. Oh, I want that to go away. You go away.
Well, actually, before I get started on Anakin, I did say the last time I was on stream that I would bring some of my finished clones to show off. So this, hopefully the focus picks up. This is what they look like in the end. Very simple, but I think they look pretty good. And for the amount of time it takes to finish them, definitely a win.
Yeah, they look great. They look nice and grungy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. I don't like anything to look too clean on the battlefield.
Nothing in Star Wars is particularly clean.
No.
Unless you are a true shiny, in which case then, you know, it's kind of clean, but I don't know, I wouldn't count it. Yeah, no new news today, I don't think. We're just here to hobby, hang out, talk. I mean, if we're always happy to chat with folks and answer questions, or heck, we got Mr. Game Developer himself, and I'm hanging out, so I always like just chatting.
Just kind of jamming away.
About whatever questions people have, if we can answer them, or if they're good topics of conversations we paint, let's do it. Shablam.
Shablam indeed.
Yeah, which option you went with? The crossguard Anakin option, did you?
Yeah, I went with the double-handed lightsaber pose. I love lightsabers. I remember the first time that I watched Star Wars, and it was A New Hope. And I mean, I can still remember seeing Obi-Wan turn on that lightsaber for the first time, and every time I see that scene, I still get a little bit of a visceral reaction. So anything that puts the lightsaber in focus, I'm here for it.
Zoop. Was it actually A New Hope when you watched it? Because when I watched it, it was still just Star Wars, and I'm dating myself now for sure.
I honestly don't remember because I was I was a child.
I remember some.
Well, let's just say it was A New Hope, and
yeah.
We'll let you date yourself.
I rember. You're older.
Although
than
I am older than you. So.
You're older than me.
Well, so I got to use cheap tricks to look younger.
That's right. That's how you do it. Yeah, I remember distinctly watching it. I've told this story before, but I saw it when it hit primetime TV when I was like three or 4 years old. So it would have been 87, but they still hadn't changed it, so it didn't say A New Hope at the start. It just said Star Wars on TV. I spilled my Frosted Flakes because I was super excited. I was eating them on the back of the recliner so I could watch the TV because we weren't allowed to have food in the living room back then. Uh-huh. And so I was cheating it. And of course, I got excited and rocked to the back of the recliner where I had my bowl, and then my bowl went everywhere. And my Frosted Flakes spilled, and I made everyone else clean it up because I was busy watching Banthas, which I didn't know they were called Banthas at the time, and I kept asking everybody in the house. So my parents and I think my cousins were over. And I kept being like, what are those things? Those really furry things. And they'd be like, that's Chewbacca. And I was like, not that furry thing. The other one. The elephant-looking thing. But I didn't have the words.
And there was no Google back then.
There wasn't,
so
no.
You weren't finding out in a
I was stuck with people who hadn't even watched those movies in the theater. It was terrible. I was in a complete vacuum of any Star Wars knowledge. It was the worst.
We would watch it every 4th of July. We would watch the entire trilogy. We just sat down as a family. We started, about 10 or 11 in the morning, and we'd start with Star Wars, I guess it was back then, but A New Hope, and then we would watch the entire trilogy, and then we would eat dinner, and then we would go outside and do fireworks. And I remember that. And
My goodness.
yeah, we would and that was like the one time a year that we would definitely watch Star Wars. And I would probably end up watching it another time or two every year because I loved it. But yep, 4th of July for me will always be the Star Wars holiday.
We had that's pretty good. We had a VCR at the time because my mother was very convinced in like getting a camcorder, which at the time was just ridiculous because you took half the VCR, which was the size of like a small screen TV these days.
Oh yeah,
it was a huge brick, and so you'd take half of it, and that's where the tape would go, and then you'd connect it by a huge like thick cable to the camcorder itself. But because we had that, you could record stuff, right? You could rip things off the TV, and so that was my copy of Star Wars Forever. And I watched that tape so many times I wore it out, and it broke on me.
Oh wow!
When I was probably 9 or 10. So then I had to get like a real copy of it. It was great. I loved it. I loved it all. What color should your pants be, Dooku? Burning question, has Dallas gotten his donuts today? No.
No.
There were donuts here yesterday. There were apple cider donut holes that Simone ordered special from some bakery somewhere. Those showed up yesterday with a weird pumpkin pie, but there are no donuts today.
There have been an unreasonable number of donuts in the office lately.
You brought in donuts like last week,
I
didn't
did.
you?
I brought in donuts last week because that little donut shop by me is my favorite, and I needed everyone to know it. And then,
they were fantastic donuts. I would go
good.
there.
Did you get one of the fruit frosted ones?
No.
Those are the jam.
I don't remember what I had. I came in a little late, so I just took what was there, and I didn't complain about it because I was like, donuts.
Yeah.
And I think somebody had brought in donuts like the day before, too, so that was pretty cool. It's been donut-orific. So I'm obviously not following the classic Dooku scheme here for my Dooku because if you watched some of the episodes where I was painting my droid force, it's like all B2s and Magna Guards, and we're doing like black metal, cast iron like black metals, and so we're going to make this Dooku pretty thoroughly in black cloth. We're going to get rid of some of the browns that he normally wears, and I'm going to do red on the interior of the cape, I think. I'm hoping it'll look pretty snazzy. And then I got to figure out where I'm going to put his Victorian brass accents.
Ooh.
I know.
That sounds lovely. I really like that blue for the boots. I think that's pretty striking.
That's they won't say it. They won't stay that way. They won't stay like rain boots. They look like his galoshes right now. That's definitely not. That is my undertone. So I'll go back through.
Okay.
I'll go back through and do a black wash over them, and then I'll get that nice blue black.
Oh yeah, that'll look real good.
Which will differentiate them. I mean, we could leave them like he's wearing. His mom was like, "It's raining on Genosha." He's like, "Mom, it never rains there. It's a desert planet." She's like, "You need to take them anyway." And he just stares at her, just disapprovingly in his Count Dooku way. But he listens because he loves his mama.
He's a good son.
That's right. He's all about it. And that's why his eyes never turned yellow, even though he, claimed to be a Sith.
Because he was a good boy.
Yeah, because he was actually a good son. He was never truly a Sith because his eyes never turned yellow. Anakin's eyes like yellow instantly.
Oh yeah.
He goes and murders a room full of kids and instant yellow eyes. Dooku, never yellow eyes. Dead giveaway.
Well, I'm enjoying painting my cornucopia of browns over here.
Lava-proof galoshes, that's true. If he went a lot of times on Mustafar. Donuts are life. Donuts are delicious.
They are. They're one of the best foods.
I'm running out of like blacks. What do I want to do? Maybe I'll do like purple black for the pants. That seems fine, right? Right?
Sure.
I'm going to need you to be more convinced, Plumber.
I mean,
if I'm going to go out on a limb and trust you here.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, when you're painting something, you just do a thing, and you see what happens, and then you try and fix it if it's bad. Like, you never know until you try.
It's true. It's true.
Worst case worst, you just paint over it.
Now we're being asked what is the best Christopher Lee role in a movie, and I don't know that I could pick just one.
Yeah, that's really hard.
Oh, it's so purple. He's going to look so fabulous for a short amount of time before I fix this.
Yeah,
It's what undertones do.
I mean that's just part of that fancy painting.
Blue and purples here.
I actually really want to start trying some of this stuff because I see the results that you get, and they're pretty fantastic. But trying really bold things, it scares me, frankly.
I mean, this is
But that's because I so much hate that, what I call the ugly stage. When I'm
true.
looking at it, I'm like, what is this doing?
There's definitely a huge ugly stage when it comes to doing this kind of like washing technique that Dallas turned me on to and stuff. And obviously you can get some pretty garish like results, which are pretty funny. But I don't know, it's really pretty simple. And one of the nice things about it is that once you get comfortable with it, it's really easy to go in and just use mistakes and like weird splooshes and stuff as like artistic kind of like, ooh, yeah. And Dallas was really good at it. If you ever hear him talk about his clones that he painted for the last like painting cycle we did for Legion during the month of May and stuff, like a lot of his technique was based around doing really quick sloppy washes and then going back in and instead of trying to fix the mistakes, make the mistakes look intentional, which leads to this whole level of art that's just wild.
That's really cool.
But I will say for Christopher Lee, I want to get back to the Christopher Lee like favorite role question. The one that sticks out in my head for no reason, and I don't know if it's his best role, it probably isn't, but it's the one that I always think about when I think about Christopher Lee, is he's the judge at the start of Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah. All right. I'll buy that.
He like has no purpose to that movie except, he's there. But I certainly think about that.
Canon 29, yes, I am painting Anakin Skywalker.
Question about Legion is the clone player. It's a bit tighter to fit things in. I think you'll want to hit Pagani with that question specifically, since he was the one who worked most directly with the testers on a lot of those clone changes and stuff that went through in this last points errata update. But I think a lot of the stuff really came out around adjusting their token sharing mechanics and kind of bringing some of their stuff that was a bit of an outlier in line. And, we had a lot of the great testers come over with the merger of the games and all of that. So there's a lot of group consensus on kind of how things were working, where we wanted to go. As far as like the clones themselves, their efficiencies are still pretty high, even with the cap on sharing and stuff. And I don't know if Plummer has thoughts on this, as he also helped out in that situation. But I think if you want a real deep dive analysis of like how that stuff worked, Pagani was the one that was involved at every step of the process. But a lot of that was driven by the testing that we did and looking at the balance between the different factions and what clones could do versus what others could do. And I think you still wind up with this very elite army that is definitely tighter on points than most. But I think that's a little bit of the trade-off that's going on. And hopefully, as things move forward and more releases come out for the clones, you're going to see options open up. And I think that's one of the big exciting horizons for clones and Galactic Republic in general, is moving beyond just those two basic core choices and seeing what else is out there to kind of remove that tightness on list building and where things are going. And that's getting a little bit further out than we can really talk specifically about. But it is something that we're keeping our eye on, and something that we talked about a lot during the points adjustment and stuff was, what viable builds were there? How does the clone kind of expense and cost factor into the changes that are being made and list building options? And sometimes that's more of a question of like, how do we address that better in the future or open up some more options and places to go? But throughout all of our testing and discussions with testers and everything else, I mean, clones remained very, very strong and viable, even with the restrictions to their sharing mechanics and some of the quote-unquote nerfs they got to some of their overperforming units.
And really, it kind of opens up list building a little bit, because when there's an archetype or a play style that excels so strongly to the point that you find yourself asking, well, why wouldn't I play that? It can kind of limit the ability to use other unit options and feel like you're doing a good thing. And then you look at that against other factions, like you were saying, and what can they do and what are their strong points. And we want to make sure that there's a healthy spread of archetypes and lists that work well, that there's no major deterrent for taking the things that you like. There should be that level of balance where you're free to make the army of your dreams that you want to have and still be able to play and perform.
I'm sorry, Chad, I'm not looking at you right now.
Yeah,
I'm focusing on Mr. Dooku's collar here, so.
Let's see.
These purple pants are just fantabulous. Simone would tell me not to change them.
Oh wow, yeah. you got some bold choices there.
I like he's like business on top, but like work at home on the bottom. He didn't take off his pajamas today. He was only doing hologram talking from this way, from the waist up, really.
That absolutely tracks.
You know?
If I'm not coming in, I'm probably wearing pajamas.
Okay, can we find, do we see some black wash somewhere? I know there's some around, we just have to find it. Or I'll make some out of flat black. I have to see my head under here.
That's fine. Duck on
I mean, it's
in.
fine for you, it might not be fine for them. There we go. Perfect. Doo-doo-doo. So run me through your clone list, because you took Anakin. He's pricey.
I took Anakin because I do what I want.
Wow.
I love
I mean,
I love Jedi. If I have a chance to have a Jedi in my army, I'm going to have a Jedi. I mean, Anakin Skywalker's the chosen one. I had to choose him, right?
That's what I was told.
That's the rules.
I was told that was the case.
So I do have Anakin Skywalker as my commander, and then I have 3 units of Phase 1 clone troopers with Z6. And then I'm actually going to have 2 ATRTs that I'm really, really excited to get to.
See, now this is what I like. The ATRT is just cool. It's just a cool design.
I love that thing. If I could have one.
Completely impractical, especially in this environment.
Absolutely.
You would get rained on so much.
I definitely don't need it to drive up the highway to get to work, but I would. So 2 ATRTs, and then I've got a couple units of ARC troopers with jetpacks and sniper rifles. So, just a lot of clones and clones riding things and a Jedi. I'm very excited about it. I can't wait to see it all on the table. But I do have a lot of clones to paint because I have not been as diligent with my hobbying as I should be lately. So I am a little bit behind the curve of where I want to be, but I think this weekend I'm going to sit down and grab my sponges and go to town.
That statement is just...
Did that get you?
Yeah. I'm going to grab my sponges. I'm going to go to town. We're going to get crazy.
I mean, yeah.
We're going to get sponge crazy.
That is the plan.
What is happening right now? I love it. I don't know. Like, I imagine you, like, busting out of the bathroom and, like, your partner's there and they're just having a great time on Saturday, and all of a sudden, like, you come bursting out in, like, really floofy pajamas. And you've got sponges in your hand, and like you've camouflaged your face like Rambo, and you're just like, it's sponging time, and you just start sponging everything, and they're just like, oh no,
just everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to you, they brought over some friends from work, and now they're just like, what is happening?
Someone's asking if we share paints or if we have prepared palettes. A little bit of both. I mean, we have a big pile of paint.
We do have a
in front
big
of us.
pile of paints in front of us, but we also have our plumber and I are working off of our own palettes right now. So
Yeah, and when I'm getting started, especially when I'm starting on a character, I like to keep my flow nice and steady. So I usually just put down most of the colors that I think I'm going to need on my palette, and then go from there. That way, I don't have to constantly stop to open a pot and put some paint on the palette. Sometimes they dry out, and that's a problem, but we deal with it as it comes.
if I had to guess, I don't think we're going to see more midichlorian cards or any of those probably. But who knows?
All things are possible.
Yeah, we got Pagani and Dursum now. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Randomly checked the work messenger last night, and Dursum is sending over Ewok soundboards to everyone.
Oh yeah.
So you know right where we are in our lives right now. We're an Ewok soundboard. We're in that Ewok soundboard life. Just darken up this cloak, make it a little different from the shirt.
Just having a bootstrap party. There's straps all over these boots, and I'm painting them all.
You gotta have boots. Star Wars is a galaxy of very few buckles
It's true.
and 0 buttons, unless you happen to be Jango Fett's sleepwear.
That is absolutely accurate and kind of weird.
Yeah, you learn. I've learned so many things about fashion in a galaxy far, far away. Simone is an expert at it. So if you have any Star Wars fashion questions, Simone, she can answer them all. She gets really excited about character footwear. Like,
Really?
what shoes do the handmaidens wear versus what shoes do, like, Rune Harko wear?
All right.
There's some stunning footwear in the Star Wars galaxy as well.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
And the sad part is that since most people wear like robes or really long capes, you almost never see their footwear. But man, those choices are bold. They're all in there.
I mean, I'm here for capes and robes, though. Like, if I could wear a cape every day and people wouldn't look at me like I was a weirdo, I would do it.
I mean, just because they look at you like a weirdo, why does that stop you though?
Because I'm very self-conscious.
Comfort is more important than any kind of perception, sir. So if you want to wear a cape, you wear a cape.
I mean, a cape's just a blanket you carry with you, and I love that.
Maybe you could get an Udi. Is that like a... does that fulfill your cape needs? It's got a hood and everything.
An Udi? I don't even know what that is.
It's like a...
search that when I get home.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's like this super oversized blanket hoodie.
I'm into that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Snuggie. That's the blanket one that you just wear like a robe.
Okay.
Except the Udi is meant to be like worn outside. You know, you could wear it to stores and stuff if you wanted.
Sure.
I mean, you can wear anything anywhere.
I mean, I can wear
guess,
anything I
but
want to the store.
you know, it's more designed for like active wear. It's
Yeah.
like active comfort wear. Let's grab some skin tones. Do we have skin tones? Sure.
And this wee tiny lightsaber handle. Always my favorite part.
Oh. I've never seen Pagani in any kind of PJs, but he definitely never wears shoes. He is a sandals only fella.
He's worse than me on that. I have taken up shoes since moving to the Pacific Northwest. There was a long time when I was flip-flops only.
I don't understand the hatred of shoes. I love shoes. Like,
Well-
given the choice between flip-flops and shoes, I would always pick shoes.
I used to live in Florida, and there's
It's-
no
it's
reason
sticky
to wear
down
shoes
there?
Oh my, yes.
I feel like rampant crocodile or alligator attacks say that there's totally a reason to wear shoes.
See,
Venomous snakes.
now you just sound like my mom.
That I'm afraid that your toesies are going to get bit off by an alligator?
Yeah, well,
I mean,
I
that
mean-
seems like a legit fear.
When I moved to Florida, my mother warned me to watch out for alligators. When I moved here, it was watch out for bears. Like whatever the stereotypical animal threat is that is probably not actually a threat, my mother was terrified for me.
I mean, based on where you normally spend your time, I don't think you have to worry about bears.
I don't think so either. I mean,
In Florida, alligators show up like they're in suburban neighborhoods.
they're in your backyard.
Yeah,
And
they're in
it
your
is kind of
pool.
horrifying, yes.
They just show up in your pool. Do you have a fountain? Did you put any open water anywhere near like where you live? You're probably gonna have gators. I do think that you missed out on a prime opportunity though to become like a gator wrestler.
Sure.
Like people would just hire you. They'd be like, there's a gator in my pool. And like you show up with your crew and you wrestle it.
I mean, I knew people that did that because I worked in entertainment when I was in Florida. So I knew people that their job was they're a gator wrestler at Gatorland.
Yeah, but that's different. That's like a show. I'm talking as like a service.
I mean, it's still a gator.
Yeah, but you know, the gator's there for the stardom. I want wild gators, you know. I want this gator to just be like, man, I found this amazing body of water. Life is finally good, and then you show up in your like your wrestling outfit and you wrestle it, and you're like, get out of here, gator. He's like, you gonna make me tough guy? And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I am.
And you have like commentators.
I would do that. Like, if that could be my job to wrestle alligators and people hired me for it, sure, why not?
Yeah, it's like being an exterminator, but it's kinder and gentler because once you've wrestled the gator down and earned its respect, it will leave.
That is absolutely how it works.
Yeah.
This
So
is
no
very
one,
bad advice. Don't
no
take
one
this
really gets
advice.
hurt.
Apparently, the proper term is wrestling.
Wrestling, yeah.
Got a lightsaber.
I mean, I think it's as long of a career choice as, you know, you can make it work.
Sure, and you know, like, you can always turn down a gig. Like, well, how big's the gator? Oh, I'm sick that day.
If you want to be a coward, sure. You don't achieve greatness by turning down challenge, plumber.
I mean,
Sir, please. I'm going to need you to step up. I'm going to need you to step up the drive. I'm going to throw another log on your motivation fire.
because I don't want to wrestle a very large alligator.
Yeah, because you got size limitations, and that's not how we live our lives
I
here.
see.
We wrestle those gators regardless of size.
You're not on camera.
Oh, thank you.
Dallas Kemp,
I have the hardest time keeping my miniature in frame.
you are closest to the screen.
I'm aware. I get caught up in the moment. I start looking at what I'm doing. I move my hands a little bit, and it's just gone. It's out of the frame.
It's because you were thinking about all those gators you should have wrestled and didn't.
I mean, if we
Coward.
want to talk about my past life,
Yeah.
that is an accurate statement.
Which gators got away from you?
Oh, more than a
See,
few. More than a
now that you made that choice for yourself, you got to sit there and live with that for the rest of your life. You got to think about all those gators that you could have wrestled,
few. That's
the things that could have been.
accurate. But you can also just be grateful that you lived because you didn't wrestle those gators.
See, we're already making assumptions that you wouldn't have lived.
Well,
You'd have lived more with those gators.
but we can't know.
None of this is Star Wars or hobby content.
No, it's
but
not. What
you
are
know
we
what?
even talking about?
This is what happens when you hobby with other people. Do.
Now I'm like checking the camera obsessively. Am I in frame? I'm in frame. Now I can.
Oh. All my blue tack fell out of my cup.
Oh no.
It did that yesterday too. It's very weird. What do you got for us, chat? There's got to be other non-gator questions, right? Maybe?
Maybe they just want to know about the gators.
Another Jedi for Rebels. Woo! I mean, I guess now that you got like New Republic and stuff, there's probably more opportunities for new Jedi, but There's not a whole lot of options if you're just going by Luke era.
And that's accurate.
Because he's a small boy during the whole, Kanan, Ezra, Ahsoka Rebels timeline. He's a wee bouncing baby boy.
I understand the desire for Jedi because they are very cool.
Jedi are dope.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But what's more dope than a Jedi plumber?
Nothing.
A character who can beat the crap out of a Jedi without being a Jedi, i.e. Cad Bane.
See, this is where we're going to have to disagree because I think the Jedi are cooler than Cad Bane. Not that Cad Bane is not super cool.
You are 100% wrong, sir.
I mean, this is a deep cut. I even think Sith are cooler than Cad Bane. And I don't even like the Sith very much.
You're just wrong.
Now, if Cad Bane had a lightsaber, then it's a fight.
What? He doesn't. That's the point. He doesn't need the lightsaber. It's just blue. Perfect. That's what makes him so cool. He outsmarts them. They're like, "Oh, I'm a Jedi. I'm so smart. Oh, I got the Force." And then Cad Bane shows up and he's like, He's playing 4D checkers, and they're just playing two-dimensional. Like, what's that game with the cup? Backgammon.
Okay.
That's how far off the level. The Jedi are playing Chutes and Ladders, and Cad Bane is playing something more complex than Chutes and Ladders. I don't know. Something. There's definitely a thing there.
All right. So Schick loves Cad Bane.
Oh, I do. I do love Cad Bane.
I love Cad Bane too. Cad Bane is awesome, and I like him. He's not cooler than a Jedi, though.
You're just wrong. I mean, especially because we're doing you're going with just any Jedi.
You know what? I will.
Including Vince the Cafeteria Jedi.
Will I double down on that?
Yeah, will you? Will you? Please do. Please do.
I mean, I think, yes, any named Jedi cooler than Cad Bane.
My gosh. There's some guy who runs he runs the cafeteria at the Jedi Temple, and he is a Jedi.
Does he have a lightsaber?
I mean, probably, but he uses it to cut cheese.
Okay, but does he use the Force?
Like government Jedi cheese blocks. That's what he does.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
I assume he uses the Force. Does he use the Force well? Probably not.
And that's okay.
Is it?
Yeah, still better than Cad Bane doing it.
My gosh.
Oh, fighting words.
I know. We can no longer be friends. I can no longer respect your opinion at this point.
I'm surprised we made it this far.
I know. It's because we never had this discussion.
I mean, that's true.
If only we had known.
That's right, Animator Cindy. Will does love them shady hunters.
I do. That's not true. I'm not a huge, I was never big into Bosk, IG-88, Zuckuss, Forlom, but Cad Bane, he's my kind of scoundrel.
Cad Bane is a great character. I love Cad Bane. I just love Jedi more. Sorry.
So vanilla. And I love vanilla, but vanilla.
I mean, there's a point, when you start saying things like "Love and Jedi" is so vanilla,
No, I'm just saying you're vanilla.
Oh, I'm vanilla.
Yeah, you're just vanilla.
I mean, come on, we know that. I'm a boring human.
Not even the French kind either.
Wow.
I've heard your stories, Plumber. I've watched you talk to people on the phone. There's nothing boring about you.
Well, thank you.
You're like a force of nature. You just never know.
Chick, did you just call me basic? That's. I mean,
is vanilla basic?
I think vanilla is kind of the default for ice cream. right?
Yeah, but that's not basic. I mean, like, just because in our pampered society you can go anywhere and get vanilla,
Doesn't
doesn't actually make vanilla basic.
Vanilla is a very complex flavor, and
And
back in the
also,
day,
like,
it's expensive.
it takes a huge amount of logistical and global enterprise to bring you vanilla. You're not growing vanilla in your survivalist garden.
I mean, if you're smart, you are.
I don't think you can out here.
Well, then you can become.
I don't know what the horticultural like requirements are for
I don't
vanilla,
either.
but I imagine that you're not doing it out here. I got to figure out what to do with this belt. I am not sure where I want to go with this man's belt. Do we have Victorian brass somewhere though? We did at one point.
Get back in frame. Keep looking.
No, you're still off. Here,
I know. I'm. There we go. There we go.
let's do this. Now you can see it in
There we go.
real
I
time.
can see it in real time. I'm
Real
not
time.
watching.
Oh no.
Oh,
I
no.
broke it all.
No, that's okay. I'm just not gonna move because I think I got it now. Still in a very base coats kind of place. I'm a much slower painter than even Dallas.
You don't have. It's not.
And it's not about speed.
not a competition.
But no, I'm not saying it's. I'm just stating a fact. I wasn't saying whether it's good or bad. My process is a little slower, and that's why I want to try some of that undertone stuff because I think I see when I see y'all paint the everything just kind of like pops into place really quickly.
I will continue to espouse the fact that if you want nice looking results very quickly, the Zenith Prime undertone washing like high contrast technique, it works really well. There are a number of our studio painters who have actually like started really going hard into this technique too, with different contrasts and all these new like paints like the Scale Insta Colors that are now on the market and stuff, which I haven't really used a lot. It's crazy. So there is this whole evolving like artistic technique that's coming out now based on this like kind of style, and people are really refining it and doing incredible things. And Dallas has been playing with it a lot. I know that he talks to all of our painters who do the amazing studio work a lot, and they riff off ideas, and then through like osmosis, we kind of like acclimate those as well. Taking this big tray.
I think that's great.
I'm gonna find it. It's awesome. It's very cool to see how new tools change mentality and adapt and all that. And we can bring that back around to development and how games progress and grow and change over time. Everything's a living, breathing entity. The one
absolutely.
color I can't find is Victorian brass. This is literally the worst day of my life. That's not true.
You've had a pretty charmed life then.
I know.
Not being able to find one paint is the biggest
One
problem
paint.
I've ever had.
Well, it's gonna slow me down here.
But it's not a race.
Brown leather.
Remember?
Now it is.
Oh.
I've been challenged.
By who?
I don't know.
Okay.
Somebody.
Because it wasn't me.
Somebody's there.
Oh, oatmeal raisin cookies are great. Yeah, you know what? I'm with you. I get a lot of grief for liking oatmeal raisin because people are just chocolate fanatics, but oatmeal raisin, yes.
It's so chewy. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm here for it.
Too chewy. It's not okay. You know what?
I don't know where oatmeal raisin cookies came up, but that's the first thing I saw when I looked at the chat again.
I saw it too, and somewhere deep in my heart, I was like, Plumber's just he's gonna say yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Oatmeal raisin cookies. Ugh. I would eat an oatmeal raisin cookie, but it's too chewy. Any kind of like snack that makes your jaw sore 3 bites in is not worth it.
I don't know. I always bring home oatmeal raisin cookies on the rare occasion that I bring home a cookie, and my partner's like, "Why? It's not a chocolate chip cookie. Why would you bring that into this house?" So,
I mean, I'm kind of with them, except that I would say it's not any other cookie.
fair.
White chocolate macadamia nut. If you're going with cookies, that's what you got to go with.
White chocolate macadamia nut is good.
Well, until I find my Victorian brass, I'm not going to be able to finish these Dooku parts. But
It's a big conversation going on about bread pudding. It looks like in there.
oh my gosh,
We're
Bread pudding, but no raisins. If you put raisins in it, I don't want it.
Bread pudding isn't bread pudding without raisins in it.
No, bread pudding with raisins is gross.
No.
No raisins. Stop trying to put raisins in everything. Even raisins don't want to be raisins, okay?
Wow.
Yeah, I said it, and I'm not ashamed. It's time somebody took a stand and said what we were all thinking.
I think raisins are proud to be who they are.
Do you know why raisins are acceptable in Raisin Bran? Not because anyone likes raisins, but because they're barely raisins. They're just little balls of sugar. Like, they douse those things, and then that's why the total Raisin Bran is so bad, because they don't sugar the raisins. So you're just getting like unadulterated raisin, and nobody wants that.
I did read a very funny meme the other day that was like, imagine a bowl of cereal that's so bad that 2 scoops of raisins made it better.
2 scoops of sugared raisins, sir. Sugared raisins, okay? No, I'm not in on this bread pudding with raisins. Like, don't put raisins in my bread pudding.
Well, I'll have Schick's raisins.
You can have all the raisins.
Done. See, the wonderful thing about raisins is they're dried out, so then they absorb all the other flavors and all the liquids up from your bread pudding, and they get plump.
And they become
Yeah.
withered grapes? Is that
They become like sad little grapes.
reconstituted grapes?
Yep.
Like, that sounds terrible.
You know, different strokes for different folks.
I
Takes all kinds.
I guess.
I love raisins.
Oh, I love bread pudding, but not with raisins. Like, the one thing that'll make me say I don't want your bread pudding is you're like, there's raisins in it. I'll be like, I'm not even going to eat around those. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm too old.
Too old for your raisins.
That's right.
I'll just skip dessert.
When I was younger and, more dependent on other people's sweet treats, I would have been like, I will eat this begrudgingly and spit the raisins out into a napkin. But now I'm just like, no.
I mean, that's fair. We are at the point in our life where we'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to go make my own bread.
That's right. I'm just gonna go find some bread pudding that I like.
Yeah, I'll just go find some bread pudding that doesn't have raisins in it.
Mm-hmm. You take your raisin bread pudding and throw it away. I don't know. Eat it yourself. I don't care.
Maybe we've caused a schism in the chat between the pro raisins and the anti raisin folks.
Well, at least we both know that we have teammates.
Keep moving this.
You're another
I'm so
pineapple. I
sorry.
bet you're a pineapple on pizza kind of person.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like my first choice, but I'm not going to turn down pizza because someone put pineapple on it.
I 100% will.
I mean, you have no imagination.
Is that what we're imagination?
Yeah.
Just because I don't want sweet pizza?
It's called Sweetza. And I think that the main problem with pineapple on
Sweetza?
pizza is that it is most often combined with ham when the superior choice is pineapple and jalapenos.
I thought you were going to go with sweet heat. I thought you were going to go with olives and just be like sweet salty all the way.
No. I
Like,
love olives, but not that much.
The problem with the ham is it's not salty enough, you see.
Uh-huh.
We needed to go extra salt.
Andrew Pineapple asks, how can you not like pineapple on pizza?
I mean, I just don't. I'm happy for you if you love pineapple on pizza, but that is not for me.
That's fair.
If nothing else, you now are getting a real good understanding of if you don't want to share your food with me, these are the things you need to order, and I won't eat them. I won't even try. I could be starving in the desert, and purely on principle, I would die instead of eat them. That's not true.
Every day I pack my lunch, it's going to be pineapple pizza and oatmeal raisin cookies.
Dude, that is going to get...
I will sit next to you so I can play interference for everyone else.
That's going to get old so fast.
Yeah, that would be the worst.
Especially because you don't actually love those things. Like,
Exactly.
you're like, I like them, but for spite, I will love them.
For spite, this is all I eat anymore.
That's fine. I respect the spite calls for sure.
Yeah.
I've lived that life.
I choose not to anymore because it's more important to do good for myself than to do harm to others.
See, this is why you never wrestled those big gators either.
That's correct.
Yeah. You should have wrestled the big gators. Sometimes it's not about what's good for you. Sometimes it's about the legend.
Okay.
Like,
I'll buy that. Sometimes it's worth the story.
yeah, you don't want the bard in the tavern someday singing about how, the great fearsome gator rose up
And
Michael Plummer was sick that day. Like, that's not the story that you want going on. That's not it. That's not the goal that anybody wants with their life. Oh, come on. I gotta get in and dark line the edge of this cape here.
I'm just trying to paint this beautiful flowing hair.
Is that what you're trying to do?
Every time I have a miniature that has like long flowing hair, I get jealous.
Well, you should grow out your long flowing hair.
I can't.
You can.
Because so much of it is gone.
This sounds a lot like Gator excuses again.
No, this is not Gator excuses. This is just accepting genetics, my friend.
You could choose to do this. You just you don't have the courage.
See, you can see in my hairline, like in the camera, like right here, it's like these big scooping wings, and then back here, this entire big bald spot. Like if I grew my hair out, it would be.
First of all, if you can describe your hairstyle as scooping wings and you don't utilize that to your advantage, I don't even know who you are.
There's no advantage. They're scooping away from my hairline.
The wing scoop. I'm all in on this.
Now, for me, there just came a point where I was like, this is just ridiculous now. I'm going to shave my head. And it worked out. Save a lot of money on haircuts now.
That's true. I definitely miss the days when I used to just shave my head down to a buzz cut, and it was like, no muss, no fuss, I'm out.
Mm-hmm. I do appreciate that part of it.
Count Dooku.
Count Dooku.
And paint his little ear.
Check the chat here. See if okay, hashtag bald life. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Bald is beautiful. I need some
white here.
Do we have a very light gray?
Light gray.
This will kind of work. Miskatonic gray. Murder bear talk. I don't think we've talked about murder bears, have we?
No.
Okay. We've covered a lot of topics.
We have, but I don't think murder bears were one of them. Although maybe slightly, because my mother did tell me to watch out for bears when I
That's
moved to
true.
the Northwest. So maybe if that's what they mean by murder bears, then yeah, we talked about murder bears.
There are the worries about murder bears.
I don't even want to know how concerned my mother would have been if she knew that there were bears that are murderers.
Put a little bit of this Miskatonic gray over our beautiful silver-haired lion.
Start bringing this lightsaber up a little bit because that'll be a little bit of fun to paint.
Get that glow going. Get it. When do we get the Legion card that's the signature look of superiority, Plumber?
Ooh.
When are you going to make that happen for me?
You know what? I'll get on a call with Pagani this afternoon.
He's here right now. We could go wrestle him like a gator.
We could, but we're on stream right now.
I'm pretty sure the stream would be okay with it.
We just got up and walked out.
Yeah. They're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I do, right? I check the camera and then I immediately move the miniature out of frame the second I'm not looking at it anymore. What I should do is I should try and paint by watching the camera instead of looking at the miniature.
Like a Cintiq.
Yeah.
I think it would be more impressive if you did it watching the actual Twitch stream, since that's on a delay.
Oh, that's spicy.
Yeah. This sounds like one of those weird challenges they'll make us do for Mini Stravaganza.
Trust your feelings.
I'd rather do it with a blast shield down, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I'd just be
You
like,
know
you
what?
know what?
That would be really
just
fun.
forget it. Just forget it. I'm just going blindfolded.
Uh-huh. Do you force painting? You have to trust your feelings.
You wouldn't even know what colors you had going on. It would just be terrible. I I don't think that would net the results that people would hope.
I think if you explained what was happening before it started, you would net exactly the results people are
That's
hoping
true.
for if they're watching
Hilarity.
that.
Well, yeah, people at home, they'd love it. It would be true hilarity to watch. Edge highlight blend on this belt.
Beautiful.
You know. Using that super fine Kolinsky point.
I still have not taught myself how to two-brush blend. Maybe someday.
I'm not even with the two brushes today because we're having so much fun talking. So I'm like one brush blending here. It is. It takes a little bit of like practice just to get the motor control of the two brushes, one from your mouth and then swapping. But once you get it down, it is very easy to like. It just becomes second nature after a while. But that's true of all.
Yeah.
Physical activity, right? You just kind of get used to it, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I got this.
Generally speaking, I'm pretty sure that I could learn most of these techniques, right? The question is always just like, when do I want to take the time to do it? And I'm usually working on a project that I know that I want it to look a certain level of good. So I'm often nervous about trying something new because I don't want to have, one outlier in my
Wrestle those
collection.
big gators. Just take them on.
Yeah, I know.
Don't
I
call
know.
in sick.
I have,
See?
Hey, I have wrestled some gators recently with regards to my painting. Thank you.
You got to wrestle those gators.
But apparently I need to do it more.
Yeah, you don't let those gators tell you what to do. But in all seriousness, I get exactly what you're talking about. Like when you have like family or other like significant others or whatever, and they want to spend time with you, gross. And you got like kids, you got to get places and all that. It's, I get an hour-ish per day because I wake up an hour early in the morning to do my hobbying, and that's it. So most of the days I'm just trying to crank through the backlog.
I'm just trying to get this done.
And it's pretty rare when you get to sit down and do random stuff and learn a new technique. But that's also what the streams are fun for. There have been several times where I've been like, I've never tried this before. We're going to do it today. Look how terrible it looks. But we learned things.
I'm very lucky. A lot of the time I'll sit down with my partner and we'll watch a movie or television. And I have a little TV table set up in the living room.
Nice.
With paints and miniatures. And they have no problem that I will sit there and just paint my little miniatures while we watch a movie or TV or whatever. So I get quite a bit of hobby time in when I want it.
See, I used to do that. I had like a little TV dinner tray,
Yeah.
and I would paint while we watch shows or whatever. But I can't. I need better light now, and there's no way to like connect a desk lamp or anything where our couch is versus where our TV is. And
Yep.
I need a whole station. I've become that person.
I have a daylight lamp, a small one that fits on my little TV table, and pretty much every time I get can you tilt that up? It's hitting the screen.
Yeah.
So
Take it down. What else is going on in the chat, Plumber?
let's see. I mean, not
Got any good
much
questions?
since then.
Any hard-hitting journalistic?
People talking about wrestling gators.
I mean, this is my kind of
Wishing that Pagani would
discussion.
spill less paint.
That's true. That's probably why I don't have any Victorian brass. He probably spilled it all. What a jerk.
Someone talking about a great book light they found. It's a wonderful portable painting lamp.
Nice. Yeah, I used to be so guerrilla with my painting. It was like dim light, no light. I was just like, whatever, I got this. This is fine.
I just need to finish this mini.
And it turned out mostly okay, but nowadays, I'm like, do I not have 360 degrees of pure like daylight light? I don't even know what this color is anymore.
No.
That's the problem. You just
Spoiled
get
yourself.
you just get
That's
soft.
the problem,
You just
yeah.
get soft. I can't sleep on the hard ground anymore, Plumber. I've learned too much. I know better now.
See, I try to stick with my roots. And that is that I don't have space for a giant painting station that is just for that. Although that's not entirely true. I have a little desk in my office, but it's really my airbrushing station. Right? So like there's so much stuff for my airbrush and so many minis that are like, oh, this needs to get airbrushed. Like the backlog is terrifying and it's all on that table. So when I go to airbrush something, like when I went to go airbrush Anakin the other day, I just have minis for days staring at me, wondering like, when is it my turn to get primed?
Yeah. When do I get this?
So I try to avoid that table when I'm painting.
So I have my airbrush station set up right next to my desk where I do my painting, where is also where I work, which is, during the COVID days when we weren't in the studio, that's where all the stream folks got to see the magic happen, sort of, in my upstairs laundry room, which is really weird. That house is built so strangely. There's got to be, is there a silver around? There's something? No
silver?
silvers? There's like this really bright one, but I don't want this one. I want something darker. I guess I'll make my own.
Vallejo gunmetal?
Yeah, it'll work. This is an airbrush color?
Yeah,
Oh,
I really enjoy them with brushes.
Maybe it'll work. They're not too bad. Some airbrush colors get really thin.
Some aren't good, but these metallics, I am a fan.
I gotta do Mr. Dooku's lightsaber. Also, I hope you're watching. Oh, we got.
I'm watching the
time? No, I said time.
Oh, the time?
4 minutes.
We got 4 minutes
No!
left.
Oh, we were so close.
To you finishing?
I always like to try to get it to tabletop standard, and
Yeah.
then I will go and futz with it later. Add a little more detail and stuff.
That's fair. I could probably put this on a table if I wanted to, but I'm nowhere near done. I definitely need to shade it down, put some highlights, but the basic colors are there. I'm pretty happy with how far I got today.
Yeah.
I'm like looking at it and it's completely out of frame. Here we go.
I love this thing.
I love
Don't
this
you
thing.
love it too, chat?
Trust me, it looks great.
I know you do. I know you love it.
The next time I come here, I'm going to be, they're going to make me have one of those sticks.
These sticks are rough because like you can't paint
can't
under,
turn it,
you
yeah.
can't get under the side. So every once in a while, we'll stick somebody on it
Well,
and just be like, deal, but not today.
Next time I'm going to have ATRTs, so I'm probably going to be doing a little
Oh yeah.
little weathering maybe at that point. Maybe try and do some rust, some dirt.
Well, we only have a couple weeks. We're supposed to start playing games according to the BK with these sometime in December before we go on holiday break.
Yep, that's why I got to get my
gotta get
ATRTs
to
up
it.
to speed.
I was painting my Magna Guard this morning, trying to just figure out like how I wanted to approach them and stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, this black on the saber is going to be a problem. It's fine. It's fine. I haven't quite figured it out yet. I'm getting close.
Look at BK. Make it happen, guys.
Make what happen?
I'm pretty sure he means get your army done.
I'm going to. There's
Yeah, I am too.
It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. I just need to have the big sponge paint day.
Yeah, you gotta get out there. You gotta get in your fuzzy PJs and your Udi, and you gotta
Just wake up and do it.
You gotta rock.
Can I get an Udi that's like custom made?
We were talking about this earlier, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. You have to ask Simone if she found anything.
Because if I can, I'm going to get one with your photo on it and a big, comic bubble that says "Wrestle the Big Gators."
Yeah.
And then it'll just be my reminder.
Can your
every day.
Udi be me in a gator costume, and then when you pull the hood over, it's my mouth, but with the gator head on it as well, and it's like eating you?
I'm in.
Like, wow.
I'm in.
You pull like the thing over, like
100%
getting
in.
consumed. Purple lightning. Who had the purple lightning? Purple lightning?
How did you tackle the purple one?
I'm not sure what that means.
I don't either. That Dooku looks great, though. Those boots aren't blue at all.
No, his pants aren't really that purple.
Looking good.
It's all these tricks. These tricks. I tells you.
That's all it is. Simple tricks. Learn to do a couple things, and you'll make great-looking minis.
It's called an illusion, Michael.
A what?
You said simple tricks, so I said it's called an illusion,
Oh,
Michael.
sure.
You've seen that show. Don't you pretend like you haven't seen Arrested Development, sir.
No.
What?
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. I'm not cultured in that way.
I don't know what to say. I feel like that show would be right up your alley.
You might be entirely correct. It doesn't mean I've watched it.
I feel like you would really identify with Job based on like your previous, theatrical experience.
I don't know how to feel about that statement, but maybe I'll go home and watch some and get back to you on it.
He's a magician, and so they always condescend to him. They're like, this isn't another one of your tricks, is it, Job? And he's always like, illusion, Michael, illusion. It's great.
I knew some magicians in college.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, you'll love it.
Yeah. No, all right. Maybe this has to make my list. Well, we've hit 2:00.
Shh, they can't stop us.
They can't stop us.
They
Stop,
can.
won't
They
stop.
can.
They can.
Because
They
now we're
probably
here. We're in person. We're live.
will. It's true. It's true.
I just want to add a little bit of white, purity white, yes, to this, and then we will say goodbye. Roll us out, Mr. Plummer, while I finish up here.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. For those of you that are interested, you can come by tomorrow. We'll be having some gameplay on Atomic Mass Transmissions Lab tomorrow at 1 p.m., I believe.
They're going to be playing some Marvel Crisis Protocol. It's going to be Will Pagani and Dallas Kemp. So do stop on by, hang out with us. It'll be a lot of fun.
And thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next week. I think it'll be a couple of the other guys painting. I know I'm not painting on this next week, but we'll see you in a couple weeks. And thanks for joining us every day. Have a great one.
Goodbye, everyone. Yeah, buddy. Can we get to the end?